This is the Hull London Study Centre. We're launching today with our first 3 programs, postgraduate taught master's programs in business management, supply chain and logistics, and digital marketing and advertising. This is a new centre. We're focused on creating for you the best, the most superlative teaching experience we can. There's a very strong focus on employability and professional networking, professional links at what we do.
Our centre is right in the heart of London at the centre of student life in the city, and we look forward to welcoming you to study here.
Students joining us from Pakistan, India, Nigeria, Angola, Bangladesh. So come and join us here right in the heart of London and take part in our programs.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Nobin. I'm from EN Global. We have our special guest who will be representing University of Hull and Aston University. She joined us from UK. Hi, Baiba. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. It's good to have you. Thanks for joining us. Before I start, I will just discuss briefly about EN Global, and then we can focus on the UK study path, So, our office, main head office in Dhaka, which is located in Dhanmondi. Then we also have 2 other branches in Sylhet. We have 3 branches outside of Bangladesh, which is in Nigeria. We also have office in Pakistan and India, so on. So we are a global representative of universities. We have large number of UK universities. We are direct authorized partner. So we process all student visa for UK. Then we also help students to study in Australia, New Zealand, and Ireland. So today we'll be focusing one of our prominent partner, University of Hull London and Aston University. We are very delighted to have you, Baiba. Feel free to share your experience about the university. So before I start, maybe I will ask about the location, if you could help us to.
Yes, of course. So first of all, thank you so much for having me as well, and for the invitation. Always a pleasure to kind of talk to our most prominent partners. So it's very, very good in that sense. So in terms of location, so both Hull London and Aston London, they're both located in London, obviously. So for Hull, we're in Bloomsbury, 99 Gower Street. So it's in a very central location. It's Zone 1. It's about 10 minutes walk from Euston Station. Just to kind of put it into perspective. Some exciting news: we're actually going to be moving campuses very, very soon. It's due in June, but I'm still waiting for the final confirmation. But we're going to have a new home for our Hull London students in Stratford, in the Olympic Park, the new kind of area where everything's kind of nicely built up just by Westfield's Westfield Shopping Centre as well. So it's a very, very cool location because it's all up and coming. For Aston, we're in 200 Aldersgate Street in London. So it's in the middle between Barbican Centre and the St. Paul's Cathedral. So it's in a very half artsy but a very businessy, corporate-y environment. So students kind of get the very business vibe
Corporate environment,
of the London. Yeah. So because we want to make sure, obviously, the point of doing a master's and to go for further education, is just to make sure that students are fully employable. So we want to make sure that they're in that sort of environment where they can kind of take advantage of it as well.
That's perfect. Yeah. Recently, we have very large number of students, who has shown the interest about, especially University of Hull London and Aston. You have seen that number has grown up, which is a good sign. Obviously, students are giving very good feedback. We have so many students. We help them to enroll in Hull London and Aston, So it's really good from all perspective, whatever way you can think of, So let's talk about the courses you offer, whatever course for postgraduates offer? You can name them, please.
Yeah, so with Hull, we have five, like basically, we mainly deal with direct masters, and then there's also one top up with Aston, but they're business and tech courses. So for Hull, we do business management, there's digital marketing and advertising, there's logistics and supply chain management, there's AI and data science, which is just a really cool course as well. And there's also healthcare leadership. So there's a bit of from all of the fields within business, we have a bit of everything. For us then it is very very driven by business and tech as well. So there's like for the direct masters we've got global business and management, then we've got data science, we've got computer science, we've got there was a few other ones as well, which were quite cool to do. So there was like business analytics. There's also cybersecurity management and also project management, which is a really really cool course. In my opinion, it's one of my favorite courses. I'll say that. And then there's also like a top up that we have launched recently, which is a level 6 top up, like a global business and management one as well. So it kind of encompasses a lot of different fields, but making sure like it's accessible to a lot of students as well, because it's mainly conversion masters as well.
Okay, perfect. And can you explain what you mean by top up? Because sometimes, like we understand, but some student might not be fully clear about that. Like,
Yeah.
so you can
So it's
clarify
basically, so instead of finishing your full degree in the country that you're studying, we like a top up is basically when you jump into UK for the last year of your studies, and then you finish your undergraduate degree or your bachelor's in UK, and then you get a full degree from Aston London as well.
UK Aston, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. And what would be the entry requirement for Bangladeshi student? Just basic entry requirement.
Yeah, so it's a 2.5 for Aston from a 4-year degree, or 2.5 for Hull and 2.6 for Aston. Like switch them the other way around.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
However,
yeah.
I will not, right? Because in general, I always encourage all students to apply anyway. So even in the case if they, for example, have like a 2.4 or 2.3 or anything like that, right? In case, as long as they have a minimum of 3 years work experience, we can still assess their applications on a case-by-case basis. Yeah, so everyone's really welcome to apply. But then we'll just look, because we look through the full profile of the student, so we don't look just at academics, because sometimes you'll have some really really excellent candidates who might have not gotten their the best grades in their undergraduate degrees, but then afterwards they went on to the field of work, maybe they've become managers or anything, and they've really progressed and kind of shown know a bit more of an interest in what they want to do. So I do strongly encourage them to apply as well, just and then we'll just assess them on a case-by-case basis.
Perfect. Yeah. So what we do in EN Global, maybe I should have mentioned it earlier. We have few different departments. We have compliance, application team. Then we have visa submission team. Obviously, we have the counselors. The sales team. So our admission team, they usually go through all the documents, because we have been sending students to Aston and Hull for many years. So we know their requirements and all. We assess, we do the primary assessment, and then we forward it to the university. In most cases, we know the answer, but if we are not sure, we can always ask. We have Wahidur in Bangladesh, in Dhaka. Then we obviously have Baiba. We can always reach them directly, so that's
regardless
very,
of the time zone.
Yeah, that's the main thing. 6 hours, yeah. Now,
yeah.
6 hours, yeah, not bad, yeah. So yeah. What about the English proficiency requirement? If you can talk, please.
So there's 2 ways. Well, basically there's 3 ways, but it also depends on either whether the students are going for Hull or for Aston. So for example, for Hull, we've got a list of about 14 private universities that we can accept MOIs from. If they don't have the MOI from any of these listed universities, then we do need an English test. English test wise, it's a basic 6.0 overall with not a IELTS banding score, 6.0 overall with nothing less than 5.5 in any of the bands. If they're going for AI and data science, slightly higher, 6.5 with nothing less than 6.0 in each of the bands. Great thing about Hull is that we can accept pretty much every single single English test, whether it's center-based or online. Just no Duolingo, please, but everything else is okay. For Aston, it's a bit more flexible when it comes to MOIs. So there's a list of about 10 universities that are counted as tier 1 universities. And based on an MOI letter from these, then we can exempt students from English straight away. If they but if they have an MOI from a university that is not listed as a tier 1 university, then they can still get an exemption as long as they are able to provide an English higher secondary certificate grade A or above. So if they have or even if they have like a multinational, like if they maybe worked in a multinational company for a minimum of a year, and they have also this English higher secondary certificate grade, like English grade A or above, then we can also exempt them. So but if they need to do an English test, for example, for Aston, it's a bit higher. It's 6.5 with 3 bands of 6.0 and no more than 1 band of 5.5 for most of the courses. But then there's like data science and computer science that requires 6.0 with no more than 5.5 in any of the bands. But then for the types of English tests, they can accept as well. So there's only 3 tests that they can accept as an online test, which is Duolingo, Oxford International, and IELTS. Anything else that the student needs to do is needs to be like an online test as well. Oh, sorry, a center-based test.
Yeah, so for English, you have so many options, to be honest.
So many. I can go on.
Which is good. Yeah, no, it's good for students, like, you know, because you get students from different disciplines, like, you know, so it's not like you have to have IELTS all the time, like, you know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of different tests that are becoming popular, right? And it's all more about like the accessibility as well, right? Because I love IELTS, don't get me wrong, right? But I do think that sometimes it's also a bit pricey. But there's other tests that are probably a bit cheaper, right, to do. So it just gives that sort of flexibility, obviously, depending on what the student wants to do as well.
Yeah, and end of the day, English proficiency means if you are, you know, it's just a test to check you, you know, are you able to talk to English, you know, talk in English or even write in English, like, you know, just to see if you are eligible to complete the course, like, you know. So as long as it meets the requirement, then it's fine. Like,
of course, because it is not like obviously it's our duty of care to students, because obviously when you go to study internationally, right, we want to make sure that you'll be fully equipped to like complete the degree as well, because we don't want you to waste your money, right, if you're not going to be able to upkeep with the demands of the course. So it's like obviously English is important just to maintain and ensure the students are able to kind of accommodate the studies as well. Yeah, exactly.
Of course, yeah. So we actually have already a large number of students who already enrolled in Aston and Hull London for April intake, like, you know. So just for the audience, if you are still thinking of, you know, applying, feel free to talk to us. There is no service charge or anything. We are authorized partner, so you can talk to us. Our counselors will give you instant assessment, and then we can help you for everything, literally, like, you know, from applying, getting your offer letter, compliance support, interview support, and then if you need any assistance for bank account opening, we can assist on that. And then obviously visa application, you know, finding the air ticket, and the most important thing is about the compliance interview, which is very critical. Like, you know, you really have to know how to answer even the basic question, like, you know, why UK. You know, different people can say different way, but there is a, you know, right way to saying this answer, like, you know. So our compliance team very experienced, and they have been working with Hull London and Aston as well, so we kind of know their requirements, so we can help you to prepare for the CAS interview as well. Would you like to share some tips, hints and tips for upcoming CAS interview? Anything you think you can think of Bangladeshi market?
So I feel like we all kind of agree that it's a bit difficult nowadays with the compliance. No, it's not a bad thing, right? But basically, because it's not. So compliance team don't like, it's always very intimidating, right? When you go for an interview, someone says, you know, like this, your one chance, you need to kind of go for it, and you put all of your efforts into preparing, then you start the kind of over preparing as well, right? So, but what compliance team are really looking for is just to see that everyone has done their research. So this means, like, for example, like my reasons for wanting to study in UK will be completely different than your reasons for wanting to study in the UK, Nobin, right? Like, so because it's an individual thing. So we just want to ensure that all students have actually done a bit of research, right? So they have gone through the websites, they have made an educated choice whether like which university will fit most like their future career goals and why they want to go to UK rather than any other country, right? So because these are all things that UKVI will ask as well, because and as we know at the moment, there's a lot of interviews, mainly all students are basically being interviewed by UKVI. So we just need to ensure that we already ask these questions just to make sure the students are more prepared
Already,
when
yeah.
they actually go for the UKVI interviews as well. But it really does go down to basically preparation and the research that the students has done individually as well. Because once you start going also like something that I will note, right? Because there's no right or wrong answer to any of these questions, right? It's more about like your personal experience and like why you specifically as a student want to go for like study, for example, with Aston London or with Hull London. Why specifically in the UK? Why in London rather than like maybe another like country or any like city or anything like that? Because everyone will have their own private views and all like their own like kind of reasons for wanting to do so, but you can only kind of find out what is the reason like once you kind of do the research about it as well. So and when you do the research, then you'll know what your reasons are, right? And that's how you kind of pass the interview as well.
It's all about practicality, like, why do you want to do this course? Because some people or some student could be like, memorizing the answer. That's not a right way. Like, you have to be practical, saying that, okay, I want to do this course because of this. What is your career? And it has to be practical and logical, like, then it's acceptable. There's no reason to memorize, because when you say something from your memory, then obviously the interviewer will know it is not practical, like, that's where students
Of
really
course,
fail, like, so it's more about practicality, like, so what about the scholarship? How much, because the scholarship is a huge thing in Bangladesh. Well, not only Bangladesh, is everywhere, but the good thing about Aston and Hull, they are offering a very good scholarship. So I'm very happy to hear from your end.
So with Hull, so we have different scholarships for both of them. So for example, for Hull, because the initial fees are 17 to 18K, so 18K being the AI and data science, everything else being 17K. The scholarships that we offer there is up to £3,000. So initially, students are able to get £2,000. This is like just all students are able to receive this. And in case if students want to pay full fees before CAS, then we're able to put in an additional £1,000 as well. For Aston London, so the initial it's a more pricier course, right? So the initial fees are ranging from 21,500 for the top up all the way till 24,000. Like depending on the course that the students are going for, and scholarships are up to 8,500, meaning that the tuition fees for any of the Aston courses will be 15.5. So regardless of if they're going for like the top up, which is like they'll just get £6,000 scholarship, and that's the maximum. If they're going for example, computer science or data science, which is like 23,500 or 24,000, then they'll get either 8,000 or 8,500 to make sure that the tuition fees that they get is 15.5. Because it is quite obviously it's expensive, right? So we just want to make sure the students are getting like a decent amount of scholarship.
And it's affordable for them as well. That's actually very good. And we also we are even in last September intake, we had large number of students who got those scholarship. Like, they're very delighted to have them. So let's talk about employment ratio. I was in your presentation when you were in Dhaka last time, so it is very high. So if you can share with the students, please.
So for Hull London, because I have the stats for Hull. So for Hull, it's about like 98% of international students going to work or further education without within 6 months of finishing. For Aston, it's like I don't have the percentage on hand. However, they
roughly,
So, because like in a rough estimate, like I don't want to say a wrong percentage because I know
Yeah,
that someone
yeah,
will like quote me on it afterwards, right?
yeah.
However, I will not. So, for example, Aston has like really great employment stats, anyways, right? Because they're like I think they were like number third in the work placements like opportunity. Yeah, ranked number three in UK for work
In
placement.
UK, yeah.
Yeah, according to HISA. And then also graduates, when they graduate, they earn more on average 5 years after graduation, like in comparison to institutions at like similar kind of ranking and level. And and we offer a lot of opportunities in Aston London as well, like just to make sure the students are fully employable upon finishing. Like for example, there's guaranteed internships, and also the course structure is quite cool. So there's like we still study 2 days a week, but one day is classes slash lectures, and then the other day we do this like cool thing called like the interdisciplinary collaborative projects, which is a module that runs across all of the master's courses that we do, and students need to be like they get placed in a small groups of 8 students, and they're all from like different specialities, and they all work together to solve a real world business problem provided by a real world company to us, and just to make sure
Mhm.
like to kind of get the practicality of things as well, right? So because both of these are very like we know that students are going like for studies because they want to become more employable, so we're doing everything possible just to make sure that they're fully
To put
employable
them
upon
in it,
finishing the
yeah.
course. Yeah.
Mm. And what about the career advice support in the university? I'm sure you
Mm.
obviously have the
Yeah. So
facility.
there's career teams available in both Hull and Aston. So in case if students want to have some, like for example with Aston, they have like they don't just have a career team, like they have a separate career team, but they also have like guaranteed internships as part of all of the master's courses. So if they want to, they can go for an internship as well, right? So that's also like a
Mhm.
great selling point. When it comes to Hull, so we're not able to offer guaranteed internships, unfortunately. However, there is a very strong careers team, and they have a lot of connections with the different like with a lot of different companies. So students just need to engage and obviously like show that they're like keen in kind of wanting to do something, and then like they can kind of find what works best for the students as well.
Perfect. Yeah. So just for the employment, if I can add something, it's more about your result, how much you score. Obviously, you need to have a good score, and then like just try to get into at least for an internship, like because internship
Mm.
helps a lot. Because even if you
Yeah,
do 6 months or 3 months, that will help you a lot to get into any new job. Like that's the field in UK, and there is always a huge opportunities because so many multinational companies based in London, and the good thing, like if you study from Aston or London, you don't have to be limited in London. You can obviously apply outside of London as well. Like you can apply anywhere in UK,
of course.
even if you want, like anywhere in Europe or Ireland. There is nothing to stop you after your master's course, like yeah.
And what something I'll
And,
note as well, actually, because
yeah.
you kind of made a very good point there. So both for Hull and Aston, because even though we're like branch campuses, because we're based in London, but we still have full access to both of the like both of the alumni
Universities,
network,
main
and
campus, yeah.
yeah, and 100% encourage all students to actually take advantage of it as well. So upon graduations, they just need to like really engage in terms of like like if they really want to do something, because there's a lot of things that like the great things that actually like alumni are doing, and obviously they have these connections with like massive companies that they might be able to help there as well, right? So it's just a good point to kind of mention as well.
Perfect. Yeah. And for the application deadline, what would be the application deadline for April intake?
So I don't have the actual official deadlines yet, unfortunately. I
But
would love to
yeah,
I would love to
yeah, yeah.
tell you, but I
Not
don't.
officially. Yeah.
But a rough estimate is because basically for Aston, the intake is the April intake. So realistically, I feel like the application deadlines will be around like March or so.
Mhm.
For Hull, we have a bit of more time because the intake is June intake, so it's probably going to be around May time or so, just as rough estimates, right? So just keep. But I'll once we have the full deadlines, then we'll send them across to you as well. But I wouldn't encourage to wait until the deadlines are announced, and this goes to anyone
Yeah.
who's listening. So if you're interested, it's much better to well, like it's much better to just like apply as soon as possible, just to
As
make
soon as
sure that you
possible,
have
yeah.
enough time to go through everything, right?
Yeah.
Because if everyone waits until the deadline, then everyone comes at
No,
the same
it's
time, and it
very
just
intense,
yeah,
very intense. Yeah, I was going to
yeah,
make that point. Yeah, it's always better because you don't have to have everything. Like, as long as you have those transcripts, even if you don't have the English proficiency for now, you are planning, let's say, mid of next month. There's no problem. You can talk to us. We'll apply. We'll put through the application. You'll get the conditional offer later. Once you have the English, we can submit to that, to get you the unconditional. But in the meantime, you can start, preparing your bank, and then we can help you to prepare for the interview and other things, like, because there is so many stages needs to be completed before you submit your application, the TP
of
test and
course,
all, like, so we
yeah,
always encourage to apply as early as possible. It helps us, it helps the university, and also is very very, very good for the students as well, applying on time. Otherwise it's very intense, and then you will be more nervous in the precast interview, and then for the UKVA interview, like, and we don't
of
want
course,
it, like, yeah.
yeah,
And obviously, if you not fully ready, then we have September intake, which is the large intake. You have enough time. But if you have everything, don't wait. Talk to us. We can help you to get you to April intake, like, And in September, obviously, we'll have another live session with Baiba. There is no problem, and we are always here to help you guys, like, maybe I'll just see if there is any question before we wrap up. Let me just check, please.
I feel like there's someone really, really trying to ask a question in the chat, in fairness. I didn't want to interrupt, but
Let me check just a second, please. Maybe there is a technical problem. Normally we have hundreds of questions, like,
because I can see some questions in the comment section. I've seen that there's a student. I'm not too sure if that's their actual name, Alex. Oh, okay. There's some questions in the on the screen. Okay, sorry. So,
okay.
Conversion course. Yes. So most of our courses are actually conversion courses. So it just obviously it depends on what you want to do, right, and what kind of fits with your future career goals. But you could go, for example, like business management, global business management as well, digital marketing, healthcare leadership as well. There's logistics and supply chain management, cybersecurity management is conversion as well, and there's computer science, which is conversion. So if you're interested in any of these courses, then just reach out to Ian Global, and they'll be able to walk you through the application process and everything, just to make sure that you're fully prepared, to go for any of these courses as well.
Perfect. Thanks. What is your payment deadline for May intake?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't have the
Yes,
deadline yet. However, I did kind of mention a bit earlier as well, right? So even if we don't have the deadlines just yet, I would strongly encourage to go through as soon as possible, right? Just obviously, the more time you have, the more time you have to prepare, right? And the smoother the process is as well, right? During deadlines, it's always a rush. It creates unnecessary stress for everyone involved, right? So we just do want to make sure that you actually have a pleasant experience when kind of applying and everything. So and the best way to ensure that is to apply early.
MOI from all universities of Bangladesh.
So not for Hull, because for Hull it's only like a limited list, but for Aston, in theory, yes. But depending, if it's not a tier 1 university, then we also ask the students to also have an higher secondary certificate, English grade A or above, in like together with this MOI. So because if we only have the MOI from a university that's maybe not a tier 1 university, then we just won't be able to use that to exempt the student from English, unfortunately.
What is the minimum IELTS requirement for postgraduate?
6.0 overall, with no more than like nothing less than 5.5 in any of the bands, and this goes across both Hull and Aston.
Early bird scholarship.
Early bird scholarship, we don't have this unfortunately at the moment. We might be able to once we actually know the deadlines, but currently there's not. But I wouldn't go for it at the moment, right? So like I wouldn't discourage you from applying just because we don't have it, right? So because currently we're giving the maximum that we can, right? So so please do apply early.
And also for Aston, you're offering good scholarship anyway.
Oh yeah. So with Aston, like the only time that the only way that I could get an early bird scholarship is by decreasing the actual overall scholarship. So I don't think anyone will appreciate that. So yeah.
3 years BSS degree from Bangladesh.
For top up, yes. So for example, if there's a 3-year degree that's been finished, then we can only really qualify that for top up if you've got extensive work experience, but I mean like maybe a minimum of 5 years, then we can try and kind of like see like the whole profile, and then we can kind of see what the dean says. What the dean says, but just as on its own, unfortunately we can't, or like unless you're going for a top up.
Perfect. What is the maximum study gap you accept for UG and PG?
So we don't have a study gap limitation, but I say this with a pinch of salt. So as we know, at the moment it's quite difficult to kind of get through compliance and everything based on the market dynamics, right? So when it comes to study gaps, what would be expected? Like you can apply and it's not a problem. However, like during the compliance interview and also during the UKVI interview, there will be a lot of questions in terms of what have you been doing during the study gap? Like why have you decided to study now rather than beforehand? Like what why do you want to do it now, right? And compliance will want to always like understand this fully before you actually like pass the interview. So that's just something to note. But in theory, like academically, there's no limitation, but it's just going to be very, very explored in the compliance interview.
How long it takes to issue a CAS letter?
So, and I'm sure someone will yell at me for this, but in theory, it's actually 2 days. I know that so sometimes if it takes longer than 2 days, then you need to flag with either Wahid or Jisan, like from our team, like obviously flag with Ian Global and they'll flag with us, just to make sure that we can chase up and understand what's happening, right? So, but obviously before we can actually issue the CAS letter, something that I will note, we do need to meet all of the conditions, both the academic and the compliance ones, and we also need to receive like the full precast deposits as well. So if maybe there's a condition that hasn't been met, like we need to, like from when it's met, then we need to wait 2 days and then we can issue the CAS.
How is the minimum deposit for the CAS letter?
So it's 8,100 for Aston and it's 9,350 for Hull.
Nursing course available?
We don't have any nursing courses available. We do have a healthcare leadership course, but obviously it's not nursing because it's not clinical. So that's just something to note. But if you're interested in sort of like healthcare management, then we can do that in the healthcare leadership course.
Placement year?
We don't have placement years at the moment, unfortunately, maybe soon at some point, but not currently. But for example, with Aston, we have a guaranteed internship as part of the course. So it's not an additional year that you would be in the UK, right? But if you want to just improve employability, for example, by doing an internship, then Aston can provide that 100%.
MRES course?
We don't have any MRES courses, unfortunately.
IELTS exam for LLM.
We don't have any LLMs in the London campuses as well, so I'm not too sure.
So easy to answer then. Provide accommodation facilities for international students.
So we do have a team that actually deals with accommodation, so we're more than happy to support with that. We like basically if you're interested in kind of going for accommodation that's university like kind of provided, like when you get your offer and once you kind of pass the interviews and everything, you just need to go through like we can get you in touch with our accommodation team and they'll be able to go through like basically what suits your budget, how long like you want to travel to the campus and stuff like that as well, and we can kind of sort out like what would work best for you with your kind of requirements as well.
Perfect. Additional scholarship available besides the 1,000 for students who pay full tuition fee at Aston.
Okay, so that's might have been lost in my whole like reasoning about the scholarships. So basically, so initially, for example, for Hull, we have £2,000 as a like straight away a scholarship for all students who apply, and then this additional 1,000 is only for students who like who pay full fees before CAS. If you you're going for Aston, you're already getting the maximum amount of scholarship, which is up to 8,500, depending on the course that you're going for. But there's nothing more that we can offer other in addition to that, unfortunately.
Do you accept previous visa refusal from another country?
So it's a tricky question because in theory, yes, but we would also need to understand why the visa was refused. And like, obviously we'd need to know a lot of background information about it, right? So it's like if you're like, for example, refused from, I'm not like maybe Australia or like America or anything, like it's not necessarily an issue, but we do need to get this declared in the beginning of the application just to make sure the compliance are able to assess your case and kind of see all of like, then they'll request like some documents and stuff like that as well. Like just to kind of see the full picture, and then we can kind of understand whether we're able to accept or not. Because it just depends. It's a case by case scenario.
For Emirates Cash Shield, but there is no Emirates, you said, I think, yeah?
No, but I think this is more for Aston Birmingham. Obviously, I don't deal with Aston Birmingham, so I'm not. I can't really answer this.
Okay. From private university, passing year 2016. So 10 years back. Yeah?
So if it's about the year requirement for Aston, it's okay. But again, like you still need to go through the compliance interview, right? So obviously, because the important bit for the like, because you can be exempt from the English test, but during the interview, the compliance team will also be kind of seeing how you answer the questions as well, right? If your English is good, then it's not a problem. But if it's flagged, then you can just be rejected from the compliance interview as well. Just something to kind of note, because when there's and if that means there's also a 10-year study gap on top of that as well, right? So compliance team will always ask questions as to why.
There's a long gap, like
why there's a long gap, like, and why have you decided to study now, etc.
All of a sudden, yeah, there has to be a logical answer, and English proficiency.
Yeah.
Research and development matter because there is no right or wrong answer, especially question student. Yeah.
But what?
I didn't get the question. It's not that clear, like.
Okay, I mean, if Alex, if you have a question about, like, if you just write it in the chat, then we'll get to it once we get to it. But just like write the question directly, just so we can answer this as well.
Deal with that, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's the same thing for here as well. Obviously, if there's a question, like a specific question that we're happy to answer, but just directly ask the question so we can address it.
Is there any regional restriction for the students of Bangladesh?
No, so we're not looking at different regions in Bangladesh is higher risk than not, in that sense. The only thing that changes is that if you're a student from Sylhet, for example, then we, like, as part of the compliance processes for Aston, we would also need a personal post-study letter, which is basically like a personal statement, but it more focuses on why you have decided to like go to UK as a study destination rather than like your future goals and like, you know, like stuff like that. So that's the only thing that's changing regionally, but other than that, like everything is the same across all of Bangladesh.
Yes, other divisions like okay. Which are interesting in your country is this is me.
Oh, very, very happy to hear. Please do reach out to Ian Global.
Can I do second masters?
Yes, we can actually. So like it's not necessarily a problem with doing a second master's. It goes back to compliance, right? So because my first question would be, is it a different field of study or is it the same field? If it's the same field, then we would need to understand as to why this master's would be more beneficial than the first one, right? In terms of like if it's a different field, for example, then it's okay, but we would just need to understand as to why you need that second master's basically, you know, if that makes sense. So for example, if you've done like a business management degree and now you want to do another business management degree, then that's a question as to why you need to, right? But if you're doing business management initially and then now you want to you decided to go to, for example, for project management, we just need to understand as to kind of what made you go for project management, and because you've already done a master's, but we just need to know understand as to why. That's all it is really.
I think we can skip any other questions because I don't want to hold you so long. So I would like to end here. Just before I finish, just for the students, if you think of applying UK, especially Hull, London or Aston, feel free to visit our office or you can call us anytime. We have large number of students applying from all over Bangladesh. There is no problem. There is no service charge. We'll be very delighted to help you for everything, from getting offer letter up until you get your visa. There is no problem. We always have connection with Baiba. She's, to be honest, she's very helpful. If we have any urgent query, she's always responsible, so even if you have some critical situation or any complex situation that you need to discuss with us, feel free to call us. Our experienced counselors and officers will be very delighted to help you. You still have good amount of time for applying for April intake. Obviously, then you have September intake. There is no issue with that. If you have any question about MOI university list, feel free to reach us. Thank you all for watching. I'm sure it was very informative. It's very very pleasure from our end to have you, Baiba, and for giving us time. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we really want to give you a big thanks.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and hopefully it was very, very beneficial for everyone. So, and see you next time, I guess.
hopefully in Dhaka soon.
Yes, soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much.
End here. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.